I would just request everyone to settle down, and if we could close the door. So we have a very interesting topic, shifts towards physical retailing following the pandemic and core areas of focus for omnichannel retail. I think all said and done, whatever we saw during the pandemic, it has reinforced the idea that experiential we cannot do without experiential. I think somewhere we had this with this concept that digital is, of course, going to take over everything, but a pandemic has profoundly made us realize that the physical touch points, the brick and mortar story, is here to stay. I think that's a positive aspect, in fact, of what the pandemic has made us realize. I want to start with you, sir. My first question to you, Mr. Aggarwal, is so during those couple of years, we saw retail, say commercial retail, these commercial, establishments. They were shrinking. People were giving up on the rentals, and there was a lot of shift happening, a lot of challenges. But then it's a different story right now. If you can take me back to those couple of years and the story now, how did the entire story, come full circle for you as a leading, a real estate builder?
Thanks, Ruhail. We as Signature Global are into the affordable housing segment of housing, and we focus on the life. Whatever we construct, whatever we do, believe in the system that the customers should be delighted and their life should be enriched one. And if we are part of solution, we have a long way to walk. In our projects, whatever we do, we built a in-house retail portion everywhere. In-house retail portions, and we have the captive audience over there itself. And during the pandemic, when the malls were not operating, these are the retails. We were operating full time. And secondly, I think Mr. Mendirata was also mentioning, these are the retails, high street retails. These are the high street retails. We are continue to be operate, and in the all over world, where you have the shops, we have the immediate vicinity customers, you have the solution. I think so. Whenever we are talking about the life can't be completed without fun, food, and fashion. I think so. This is the normal term. Everybody is using it. And the second thing is the need. Whatever the need of the customers. If we can fulfill all those four things, and if you have the captive customers, and third thing, if you have the retailers must have some solutions. As we showed, a lot of retailers are getting bankrupt because of the high cost of acquisition, high cost of rents, high cost of mainly the maintenance cost. We have the solution. We are providing retail in the immediate vicinity of the customers. We have the captive customers. All of the brands are here. We as Signature Global, I think so. It's a great thing. It's a great event when I can invite all of the retailers. Just come, collaborate. We have the solution. Come and collaborate with us. When we are talking about the omni-channel, lot of discussions were happening over there. We have the base. You can do the physical and the digital with us. We have the low maintenance retail hubs. We are working in all segments. Post-pandemic, I think so, a new trend has been emerged. Earlier the saving philosophy was going on in the India. But now in 2 years, when we have seen those kind of things in the pandemic time, then now the mindset of the customer is getting changed. Live your life completely.
It's not just the saving part that he is focusing on. Can I get this mic? Yeah, okay. That's fine. Okay, Sidhant, I want to come to you. What is the brick and mortar story in the current times? Of course, there was always, there was always a shift towards physical. But what is the current state of affairs of the brick and mortar industry?
So, hello. Yeah. So, of course, brick and mortar has existed for so many years now, and I think in the last 5-6 years alone, we've heard so many new words have been added to our retail dictionary, starting from e-commerce, then omnichannel, then phygital. There's so many D2C. So many things have been added, but retail after pandemic has come back full-fledgedly now. But how the customer behavior has changed is now that customer doesn't look at brick and mortar or online separately, because there was a time till 4-5 years back we used to say that the online customer is not the same as the offline customer. But those things have changed now. That's why most players like Reliance or Tata are now looking at ecosystem, because now the next big thing is going to be building an ecosystem. People are not going to be differentiating online or offline. It's actually brands should be focusing on building that ecosystem, so that offline can be a discovery process, and where the customer is going to make the repeat purchase is going to be online. So that thought process from across all the brands need to change. Just a small example. For example, when we go to a grocery store once a month, so it's an exciting time for me that I'm going to a grocery store. I see 100 new brands, right? But I see a new brand, say a bottle of milk, and I'm coming back. Obviously, I'm not going to go to that store again the next day or 3 days later when I actually need it. And as a brand, if I'm not available in a different ecosystem of, say, e-commerce or guys like Zepto, Big Basket, then I lose that customer. So there's no point of acquiring that customer, which is so expensive in today's competitive world, that if I'm not available across other platforms, I am going to lose onto that customer. So customer post-COVID is used to getting products on time, sitting at home. So they're very, very used to that ecosystem. Retail, offline, brick and mortar retail is always an experiential kind of a thing for a customer, right? So today, going out on a weekend to a mall is actually like an occasion for the whole family. They're going to continue to do that. But as brands, we have to create that ecosystem so that once, consumers discover us in a mall, they should be able to buy from us online or through different formats.
Rakeshji, your category is quite different. It's not an everyday shopping, So how did you pivot during the pandemic, and has digital emerged a strong part of your marketing and sales touch point after that, or is it back to where it was?
Yeah, thanks, Ruhail, for having me out here. So I think I'll go a little bit before when the pandemic started, and the consumer evolution journey around 2016 showed a significant change when we saw it's important for the manufacturers or marketers to realize that they don't necessarily have to sell where they can sell it easily. Like we have a base of 100,000 retailers, should we go through them? It's important for us to realize where the consumer actually wants to buy. So from 2016, we could see a definite shift happening towards digital. So at that point of the time, we brand being a very, very strong brick and mortar brand, we've been a traditional bathroom company with a 6-decade-old legacy, and we had moved into the appliances and the retail part of it. So it was very important for us to be, evolving and embracing the consumer journey. So that's where we decided to be digital first, digital first and, digital first. So, what does digital first give you for a relatively new brand? Why do you see evolution of so many D2C brands, so many new brands? Because the physical reach of a digital presence can, spark you, it can give you thousands of pin codes in no time. So our digital first journey gave us reach to more than 1,500 towns and around 12,000 pin codes in a matter of 3.5 years. And just imagine, for any distribution-led company, product-led company, it would have taken 3 decades to reach to 16,000 pin codes across India and spending millions of dollars in marketing. So that helped us. But the story didn't end there. So having started early in digital approach first, being a bathroom-led and being a retail-led company gave us significant, turnaround for us in the sense that we got recognized as digital first. We had thousands of SKUs which you could showcase to the consumer, which you could not have done in retail because of the paucity of the space. So I think if you see when the pandemic actually started, so things started changing, and for us it became a winner at the start because we had adopted that strategy first in a commoditized industry of appliances, and then you had the larger players, very big players who embraced this much later than what we did, and today you see a fierce fight happening on that space within them and within us as well. But having said that, I think the basic fact of life, even in 2020, when the pandemic was at its peak in 2021, we were fundamentally of the opinion that India is a place which has more than 4.5 crore shopkeepers, and they're supporting the lives of more than 25 crore Indians. So you cannot just 20% of Indians who depend on the livelihood of retail cannot disappear overnight. So this has to be an inclusive story. So having said an inclusive story, as brands move to omni-channel, I see a lot of people talking about omni-channel, talking about phygital. So primarily, if I see what brands actually mean that by that is, okay, you shop online and take delivery from offline, or you touch and feel it offline, buy from online, and this is like a 360 degree. But I think it's much, much more than what, it's not so easy as it sounds to be, the omni-channel thing. It's not going to be so easy. I think one of the biggest things which the brands will have to do is to integrate technology, because you have to actually map the consumer footprint at all the places. He experiences at some place, then he goes to online, reads the content. Content is the biggest form which will drive business. My firm opinion is that content will drive business significantly, and in the phygital space as well. So it's important for us to realize we have to map the digital footprint of the consumer in his journey, whether it's offline or online, to actually create a data bank to understand my consumers better. Having said omni-channel is very easy, but I think it will take much more technology. Companies will have to embrace strong technology matter, which will actually create a complete data bank of the digital footprint of the consumers, learning his journey, funnel journey of buying, and then actually marketing and remarketing your efforts towards getting that consumer. So we've seen that. So I think one of the best ways which we did was, we have one of the brands, a furniture brand called Evoke, and we have franchisees across the country, and we have a very, very strong, during the D2C, during the pandemic, we actually opened a very strong D2C, which now has more than 4 to 6 lakh consumers visiting that space. And today, what we have enabled is that, we enabled a hyper-local where which a consumer can actually, have a look at the entire catalog on evoke.in and actually go to a Bangalore store and buy from there. So we get the delivery enabled. So hyper-local, embracing the technology and integrating the technology part to actually, revisit the footprints of the consumers during the entire funnel is key to success. And I think brands will have to realize that, because, omni-channel and phygital seems very, very, brilliant words. So, but it's not going to be so easy. It's going to be, the technology has to be embraced. I think I would slightly disagree with Mr. Mehendiratta that profits don't come only from cost minus selling minus cost, but it's a lot to do with technology, because technology will give you that scale. Technology will make you understand the consumer and will bring your cost lower on a significant scale. So I think we cannot undermine technology at any stage.
Absolutely,
I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, and we'll take the counterpoints later on. Samir, quickly to you, the Meena Bazaar post-pandemic pivot, the story, a little bit about that.
Well, post-pandemic has been phenomenal growth. I think revenge buying was the first term that I heard post-pandemic that a lot of people got into. But I'm happy to say that is all settled, and the buying patterns that we are seeing now are in it for the long run. So, our expansion story has started. Internally, we have committed to opening 3 stores every month, 3 new stores, focusing on tier 2 cities, focusing on tier 3 cities, and really going to audiences who are now looking at outlets, who have now wanting to go shopping to their local mall, to their local bazaars, and sort of enjoy that time away from their screens. So that is something that post-pandemic we are looking at.
Right. Mr. Aggarwal, what is the current scenario when it comes to investing in high street retail outlets? If you can give me, are these bigger brands alone? Are these the startups? Where is the kind of money coming from?
I think so. All all of the brands which are operating in the segment like focusing the need and the solution of the customer. Like the new brands are coming, collaborating with us, and who are serving at the end customer base and who can operate in a small space. They are coming up with us, and so that the ultimate solution work with the customer, investor, as well as the brand. Post pandemic, the lot of mindset shift is there. Mindset shift is there. Customer is now expanding in a big manner. They are enriching their life. They believe in the livability of the life, not just by saving. I think so. It's a good time when the market will grow further.
Right. Sidhant, we are living in times where you have multiple, what do you call, attention deficit is the current, the way it is. It's difficult to get the attention of the customer. And physical and brick and mortar has this advantage that you can create experiences, immersive experiences. That's what the advantage is. But, largely, if you look at it, it's like an enclosed box. Largely, the format is changing, but it's been like that. How is your brand trying to create that immersive experience, and those customer touch points? Which are those wow factors for them? And give me your story, what all is happening on that front, if you could.
So, being an e-commerce first brand, how we look at retail is slightly different because we started with e-commerce and then ventured into retail. And yes, it definitely is difficult to kind of draw customers' attention in today's competitive space. And post-COVID, at least the e-commerce space has become more and more competitive, and retail is also now coming back. So I mean, there have been a few things that we've been doing to first draw the customer and then, most importantly, retain the customer, because these are some things that go hand in hand, and coming up with different strategies. For example, we are doing a lot of collaborations with celebrities, designers, influencers to kind of highlight the customer's attention, to kind of get them across our touch points. So that has been one. Another thing is coming up with beautiful loyalty programs. That is something that we feel is going to have a huge impact in the near future. That, of course, that's not going to do with drawing attention, but it's more about retaining that customer that we get. Today's time, customer is looking. So we are into the fashion space. Fashion space has been mostly unbranded for so many years. And now in the last 4-5 years, we've seen as our country is developing, people are getting more and more informed because of e-commerce, the kind of content that they are consuming. They are hungry for brands, right? And they want to, like I think Sir just said here, that content and technology is going to be key. So that's actually what our focus is going forward, that draw customer through new content, because today social media is playing a huge role in drawing that attention. Hence, those collaborations that we've done and how we are scaling it up in the near future is helping us draw the attention, and we are using that to kind of make customers shop through multiple touch points that we have.
So Rakesh ji, if in your category, what is the role of digital in terms of creating experiences, and how does it kind of wed with the physical touch points? Also, there is a concept which I have heard, people often telling me that digital is used for research and all, and then actually you will only make the real purchase at the physical touch point. Is this true across categories, or just in a big category like yours? I mean, also your viewpoints.
I think, what we are seeing is an evolution of the industry across categories, right? So I think it will be not wise on my part to say at this stage how the industries are going to evolve. So we're seeing is various stages of the industry and various stages of the categories. In the larger appliances part, e-commerce is taking a substantial pie from say 15 to 40%. So, and then, they will also have struggles growing it beyond that percentage as such. So digital, of course, plays a very, very critical role when it enables a digital-first brand to play in that. I think content is one of the major factors which actually drives the consumers. If you can see the evolution of the content over a period of the last 3 years, you can now see actually live commerce taking a significant portion of actual digital sales as well. So live commerce is nothing but I mean, my belief is that in next 3 odd years, live commerce would be almost 15% of actual e-commerce. So I think that's one major shift happening even in e-commerce as such. And of course, I mean, this goes without fact that there are certain set of consumers who still like to consume content online and actually go to the physical store and, you know, see. That might be product specific here, where touch and feel could be critical. But if you see over the last 3-4 years, touch and feel is now given weight more to about content, because the PDPs, the product landing pages on the digital space, gives you the entire information. So the consumer consumes that information, and if that information is enough for the consumer to make a buying decision, he makes. If it's not enough and he wants to go to the physical space to actually feel that what content he read, is it going to help him by actually going to the physical space? So you have both sets of consumers. So what we are seeing is a seamless engagement, as what we have, you know, rightly termed phygital. But I said it at the start, it's easier to, you know, talk about that than actually reaching it there. But yes, I mean, the phygital world will actually take over once you bring that seamlessness in your approach in the digital space as well as the physical space. As Mr. I don't know, the earlier speaker spoke about Costco, you know, all the stores across the world, you know, look the same. So I think that's the experience which you have to give the consumers, whether it is offline or online, for them actually to migrate from platform to platform and create a really brilliant phygital world as such. So in our categories also, we are, I would not say either I will be wise enough to say that we have reached a stage where we are certain now how it's going to evolve. I think we are still passing through those phases where we are seeing the consumer journey evolving, consumer experience is evolving, and he makes a decision based on his experiences. But yes, one of the biggest facts which you've learned in the last 4 odd years is that brands have now become passé. So, you know, established brands, legendary brands, I mean, they don't no longer cut ice with the consumers. It's the experience which the brand delivers is making them successful. That's why you see D2C brands, whether in online or offline space, are doing better. They may not be profitable, but they're engaging with the consumers on a far more significant and engagement style than probably the legendary brands are doing right now.
Now, that's a very profound statement. I mean, it's all about experience. And Samir, precisely my question: how are you creating immersive experiences for customers using digital and physical touch points?
I think for every brand, that's the new challenge. I think people consume, their first touch point by default. Anything new is now digital, but making just a simple fact that what a customer sees online or on social media or on Instagram, whatever he or she discovers is the right word online, is available at the retail store, is, I think, the first and the most important, challenge. Be it a new outfit or a new, hand shower or anything. If that person cannot find the same product at the store or at the retail touchpoint, then it's of no use. So just getting that organized and making sure that's in place with your inventory is a critical point. Apart from that, it's just making sure the customer has a good time. I mean, they just relive their memory of their first experience of retail or their long-standing experience of retail and actually get into questioning, is it only the convenience factor that they went into online for, or was it anything else? If it's just for convenience, then definitely that kind of a customer will be serviced, online. That needs to be serviced online. But someone who enjoys that shopping experience, trying on clothes, especially in women's wear for us, trying on that clothes, trying on the different colors, new work, even seeing fresh new fashion, in front of you. We have daily new stocked updated at all our retail stores, and physically it becomes impossible to have everything online for us. And so even the customer seeing new inventory come into the store and enjoying that experience, enjoying that first look, is something that for me creates that experience and sort of just reaffirms the retail journey.
Right. So we're almost out of time, but one quick 30-second answer, starting with you. Outlook for 2023 as far as commercial retail is concerned.
मैं इसको बहुत सिंपल बात में कहना चाहूँगा, कंक्लूजिंग रिमार्क है, एक पोस्ट पैंडेमिक एक नया ट्रेंड डेवलप हुआ है कि कस्टमर के जो सपने हैं वो पूरे हैं. जो भी पर्सन उसके लिए आने वाले साल में कोई भी सॉल्यूशन मेकिंग का हिस्सा होगा, क्योंकि उसकी अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ फंड्स आर लिमिटेड, बट दे वांट टू एक्सपेंड, बट उनको कॉस्ट इफेक्टिवली आप उसको टाइमली जो पर्सन डिलीवरी कर पाएंगे, जो उनकी सर्विसेज को पूरा कर पाएंगे, दे विल बी द विनर. कस्टमर के सपने पूरे हैं. लेट्स कम मेक अ सोल्यूशन फॉर देम. आई थिंक सो.
Rakesh ji.
Stop living in the glory of your past brand, and start focusing on the experience part to the consumers. I think that will be your the biggest takeaway for the next couple of years as well. I think most of the brands should focus on that.
Before you say something, so revenge is out of now because
Absolutely.
enough revenge for 1 year. Now, what do we do in 2023? What will drive?
I think phenomenal growth all across there. The buying power is increasing. Just the ability of a brand or brands in the retail sector to just keep up pace with the demand is something that brands and companies should focus on. At the same time, getting into little sort of I don't want to say local, but personalization, because everybody wants something unique to themselves. Especially for fashion. It's very important to see something online, having the same thing in store, but getting it to your size, getting it to your specification, or that Mera Wala pink is something which is,
So it will be very personalized, you're
correct,
saying, right?
correct.
Siddhant, final words.
So, like I said earlier, I think for us brands, we should just focus on building a very convenient ecosystem for our consumers. This is India's decade, and I think 2023 is one of the first steps towards that, us reaching that kind of goal.
So I'll just wrap up this. We're out of time, but with this statement, one profound statement which still stays with me is what Mr. Kaul said, that it's not the big brands, the legendary brands. It will be the experience that will drive the retail. But thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts, and thank you for your time.